What is with you today, Taylor? You are feeling good. And it's like, it's the caffeine.
I have a related story. So I have been singing the praises of modafinil. Am I pronouncing that right? Does anyone know?
I'm not a pharmacist.
I'm not sure what it is.
Okay. You might call it a competitor to Adderall. People say it's not as good. I think Adderall has a dopamine aspect to it that modafinil doesn't. But it's the first one I've ever been prescribed in this like spectrum of drugs that gives you energy. And it's this cool kids biohack nootropics drug that people are taking. Like, oh, do you want to be smarter tomorrow? Just pop one of these. I don't take it very often. I probably take 3 modafinil. Maybe is that not how I'm saying it? I'm not sure. Anyway, my wife was like, the day after you take it, you're not cool. You're not nice. You're easily agitated. And I'm like, I don't think so. So I took it, and then I'm like, we'll evaluate tomorrow. And now I don't want my modafinil taken from me. So I'm on my best behavior, which makes me at least a little bit of an asshole. You're
just a little edgy.
Yeah, and every time, like I'm driving in traffic, and some guy's in my blind spot too long. I'm laying on the horn because the guy's in my blind spot. That's not normal Woody behavior. Like I don't care. And you just other things like, could you believe it? There's been someone in my way the whole time I'm driving, and like it's not how I normally react to traffic. Mm-hmm. And there's another incident that night. I don't recall the details, honestly. But basically, at the end of the day, I had to admit that I was a little short-fused the day after this. So I might be withdrawing my recommendation from modafinil. I don't know.
Yeah, it wouldn't be nice if it made you cranky.
Need some
the next day.
Yeah,
so that if I might take it 2 days from now. So 2 days from I'm going dirt biking with my friend. And then I'll be grumpy. I'll be grumpy for the PKA hangout, which is always a show.
Take 2,
everyone, best behavior this Sunday. If Woody's edgy, we all got to be careful.
I like mother truckers show up with bad audio on Sunday.
I imagine, like somehow
fuck around and find out.
Somehow that drug like saps away some brain chemical that is like liquid, like patience.
Yes, that's what happens.
So like he's running on empty the next day, and he's just waiting on a motherfucker to have a scratchy mic or to interrupt him a little bit.
A little bit. Jesus, I've told this story way too many times, but I remember years ago I had a broken leg. One of the people in the Patreon said like the meanest thing to me he could, which was like, Woody, you're old, that leg will never heal, you're ruined, etc. And I'm like already depressed. My summer ends, I'm not a winter person, and I just tore him apart. Like I went blue shirt wings on this guy. Where like I went after his hair, his weight, his like everything about him. And
I remember that now that you mentioned the hair and the weight, I remember because I couldn't believe. I was like, damn, Woody's hitting him everywhere. He's lighting him. It was like in a fight when you're like lighting the guy up. He's like left eye, right eye, like fucking hook,
body top.
Like I'm just you were just hitting him with that. He was just no.
Fuck around and find out. So, and then we talked about it on the show, and it created like a Patreon. Explosion's a bit of an exaggeration, but we had to start booking like second rooms. We had to find technology that could host more people. One guy said, if I don't get personally berated by Woody, I will not have had my money's worth.
Dude, and you can like, I know Kyle and I, because we're obviously in every hangout, we will track the situation as it is unfurling. And so like, sometimes like Joe Schmo. No. I mean, we're just like, we watch it and like I'll make eye contact with Kyle and I'm like, do you see that? Because the same guy just interrupted Woody for the second time. And then 5 more minutes pass as you log that away. Yeah. Woody's trying to talk about his most recent motorcycle trip, and this guy's trying to talk about tanks or something, even when he's not the tank expert. That's strike 3. And then it's like, and I love it when it comes out of left field. Woody will be like, I'm just looking forward to this trip. It's going to be a blast. Do you ever shut the fuck up? Do you ever shut the fuck up and realize people are trying to listen to this? And then I'll sit there and be like, I feel like I'm in trouble.
Yeah. It's like, this is not the time for me to interrupt Woody. And everybody in the room is everybody shuts the fuck up then. And it's just because they know that they're gonna get a scolding too if they come in here, because he's fucking handing them out left and right.
It's mostly everybody starts laughing at the person who got scolded.
Yeah. And look, it's always like well deserved, because it does build. It is one of those things where it's like, this guy is a serial interrupter, or this guy like really enjoys the sound of his own voice. He wants to fill like any dead air at all with like, he'll just start vomiting words. And it's just like
there's 25 people on the call, and that guy will be half of the talking. And it's like, your ratio is way off, bro. You know? Yeah.
And it'll never, maybe it's nothing we want to hear anyway. There's a couple guys that I like. They're just like terrible storytellers. You know who I'm talking about.
I actually know exactly who you're talking about.
See? like I guarantee, like we're talking about the same guy. He's a pleasant man. I bet I can hang out with that guy and like shoot the shit and like have a great time. Cool fella. God damn, he can't tell a fucking story. He'll go on and on and on, and like nothing will happen. Like the end of the story will just be like, and then they went in the garage and closed the door. And it's like, you just told me a whole story about your driveway, the kind of door you have, and it just ends. Like the story just ends.
Needs a punchline.
Like there was no point to the story. He was just like everyone else would be like, yeah, I woke up today, flat tire on my car, went to change it, tore my pants open. This is a story. They're telling you how shitty their day is. He'll be like, yep, I got in the truck this morning, went and got breakfast, and on to work I went. Had a nice day too. And it's just like, dude, are you just going to recount your fucking day to me right now? Because I'm sure somebody's got a better story than just your activities today. And we talk about it's almost a meme where like we had a guy who's a tank commander, and we asked him a fucking tank question. Somebody wanted to interrupt this dude and answer the question for him. And we're like, shut the fuck up. We're asking the goddamn tank commander who has fought in combat as a fucking tank commander recently. Keep in mind, that happened a year ago.
Yeah.
Last month, the tank commander's in there, and he just wanted to correct everyone and let them know he is not a commander of a single tank. He is the commander of tanks. He has
I think he might have been promoted.
Like a tank battalion or something is underneath him. He's the guy who tells all the tanks where to go like at once.
Yeah.
And so like we're like, oh, yes, sir. By the way, I think Woody asked, hey, how about that reactive armor on some of these Russian tanks? Blah, 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 in Ukraine, relevant topical thing. Here's the fucking subject matter expert. And some motherfucker interrupted him and started. And I was like, hey, we're asking the tank commander.
That one was Kyle.
Because it was like, I'm not going to let you say another goddamn word before the fucking tank commander. We were
again, repeat offender. Repeat offender too. It wasn't like he did it once. It was like the tank commander can't get a word in about tank commanding, and
the hangout it might be one of the best parts of the whole of Patron thing.
It's always so funny.
You get to see like sometimes they'll just be like inexplicably like hot chicks hanging out there, and it's like, how did you get here? Like your boyfriend's not there with you, and like. She'll be like, oh, and she'll have like some cool job and everything, and then we'll never see her again. But then there'll be like some fucking like drug addict who's barely conscious, like sputtering and stuff. We'll have people vomiting on themselves and fucking each other, and I'm not making any of this up. We'll have people like operating motor vehicles, shooting firearms, shooting animals, like all anything you can imagine on camera, like in countries around the world. So some people are like on the street in restaurants, and some people are driving their car down a road in America. And then one guy was in like the jungle somewhere one time. It's always something.
One guy is consistently farming.
Yeah.
Like in a truck.
He's plowing fields.
Plowing fields.
Gentlemen, if you're listening, mute yourself. You gotta mute yourself when you're operating a tractor.
Yeah. We'll have people like half naked and being like weird and like getting undressed for weird reasons and like all sorts of nonsense. We got some characters in there, man. Like it's always weird.
We can't tell in public.
stories.
Yeah, a lot of stuff you can't say, but it's a fun time. It's always a fun time. I look forward to it.
Think about the
month.
things we have said, right? The naked people, the sex, the drugs, the this and stories we won't tell.
And stuff that's a little uncouth.
We're still charging that kid's credit card.
Either subscribe, donate,
Can't take this shit no more, man.
or get the fuck out.